This video is made for adult collectors because large green-ish Optimus Prime. Why is it green? So you know how one of the common things to say today as a Transformers fan is that, oh, toys nowadays are getting smaller than the old ones, which is not true. They're not. There are some that are and some that aren't. Like, for example, here is, you can't see that. Here is an old Voyager, right? This is from 2017. Here is a new Voyager, and here is another new Voyager. Like, they're, you know, it depends on what you're looking at. Obviously, if you have 86B next to another deluxe, it's going to be smaller, but like they're not all getting smaller. Skybite fell off the desk. But then you get to the point where I bring this in, and that's a Voyager from 13, 14, something like that. And then I bring in a modern day Voyager, and you're like, holy crap. But then again, this was really big for its time because there's a leader class next to it. That's just abnormally large. So I have this, my eye's gone all blurry. So I have this, a Cyberverse, not that one, Commander, not that one, class Optimus Prime in Thunder Clash colors. Back during Beast Hunters in like the last year, I don't know exactly what happened then, but I know the budgets were not the greatest. And so Hasbro upscaled a bunch of these types of toys to fill a wave. And one of them is this massive Voyager class Optimus. Like this size-wise is as big as an old leader, but feel-wise, like a knockoff. Beast Hunter's Voyager Optimus Prime here looks, actually he looks kind of hideous. I don't know what was with the neon green thing, but it's like right in your face. I'm just gonna take all the gubbins off the back so you can get a better look at the rest of the truck. That is a truck. It's not the truck that Prime turned into in the show, but it's based off of like this tiny figure from concept art, I assume. And it's a truck that looks fine. I just wish the grille wasn't green. That's like the only thing that makes this ugly to me, because the rest of it is fine. Yes, there is giant exposed hollow bits on the back here, and yes, the front looks like its lower jaw is missing, but overall it's not too bad, though it feels like poo-poo. The plastic is very thin and slightly on the softer side. Like I was giving some parts a bit of movement while I was writing this to feel how thin they were, and genuinely almost snapped bits off with how easy it is to move without that much force on parts that aren't supposed to move. And because the wheels are all like clipped in and he's hollow, it makes for a very not fun rattling noise when you pick it up. There is a sculpted grille on the underside of the truck front though, I just noticed that. As you saw earlier, the weapons can all store on the back of the truck. They have dedicated places to go, and it would look like genuinely good storage if they weren't Jolly Rancher green. And again, this thing is massive for a Voyager, like it is enormous. My jaw hurts. This came up with the Predaking I used to have, which was also gigantic because it was an upscaled modified Cyberverse Commander figure. Anyways, transformation. It's very similar to the small guy, but they did change a lot of the joints and a couple of different little things. All right, this thing is very simple to do because again, it is just basically ripped from this. They just changed the joints. But the change of the joints is necessary for the fact that this is bigger, but they don't feel the greatest. So what we're gonna do first is we're going to remove the weapons. So the shield, it just sort of tabs into these two bits right here. You can peg it into the side if you want to, because it does have 5mm pegs, so you can do that. That just looks weird, and it's also, one of the wheels is now stuck. There we go. So you take that off, take the sword off, come on. Then you want to take this and just bring the legs down by like one click, just to untab them from the fists, because they sort of like, they don't tab in, but these bits sort of rest in that divot there. Then we're going to fold the feet down, and then we're going to split the legs. They tab in here and at the back, and then you want to take this entire assembly and fold it around on either side. I just saw the date actually. When was this made? This was made in... It doesn't say. That's fun. Okay. So now we have legs. We can get him somewhat standing. There, he's standing. Now to do the arms, what we're going to do is fold this piece up here and take this and just split them. And then accordion them out. So they're hinged down here, and then they have the shoulder ratchet, which sounds awful. And then we're going to bring this double hinge out and then take this section and rotate it 180 degrees around like that. And then these two clips are going to clip into here, and these two tabs are just going to rest there. Now, one thing I noticed while I was writing this, there is a very big, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a very big stress mark on this clip right here, because this is a very solid and sturdy connection, and taking it out requires a bit more force than I would like, and it's stressing that piece there. So that's fun, but once you get all that situated, You then take the shoulder pads and you unpeg them from the shoulders. Oi! Oh, I did not like that sound. Bend the elbows down, rotate them. And that's an arm. So again, oh, I just pulled the whole thing off. That's the first time that's ever happened. Okay, don't do that. I hate that sound. And then rotate that. Is that a ball joint? I just noticed that the bicep swivel's a ball joint. Hang on. Yeah, it's a ball. That's weird. Okay, I guess ball jointed bicep swivel. And then once you've done that, you fold the head around, and there you have Optimus Prime as the Jolly Green Giant. Apparently. This is an awkward looking robot. He is chunky, well, everywhere, but he still looks thin and flaky to boot. There is a lot of nice detail exposed now though, but very little paint, like very little. I do dig some of the design choices here over the design that was in the show, like the cage bits on the legs and the wheels up here on the shoulders. What looks odd though, from any angle that isn't straight on, is he's so nothing burger. There is nothing in the mid-torso area because this figure doesn't have the thrusters or the jetpack, and thus it leaves him looking not filled in, and he can't move his head. The joints don't feel great. The ratchets are those plasticky ones that make loud noises like they're gonna snap. He can hold all of his weapons, the Nexus sword, the Vector shield, and the no fancy name gun. The gun though is a friction fire missile, so you can push the back and then shoot your siblings in the eyes, I guess. Don't do that. Yeah, so his posing is not great. It's not great, and it's because, look, here's the original mold, or at least, yeah, the original mold in a different deco. It's the same sort of range as this. They added one joint to this figure to make this, and that's a thigh swivel. But everything else is exactly the same, and so like it just feels like a bad upscale. So the head, as I said, doesn't do anything. He can look up and down, but like there is no rotation. Shoulders, they can do a full 360. They can go out about that far. There you go, 2 clicks out. And then you want to move the shoulder back down. Okay. Oh, the transformation hinge is moving because it like soft clicks into place, but the ratchet is stronger than this. And so you end up moving that instead of the ratchet. So you have to like hold it here and then bend it down. Does have that bicep rotation. That is a ball joint, which we've discovered. Then you have the elbow ratchets that don't sound great. And they sound even worse going back. It's like RID 15 Grimlock elbow. I'm kind of worried those might explode. Is that stressing? No, it's just my light. There is no waist joint, and it also doesn't do the thing that this does, where if you untab it, you get an ab crunch. Because this one, right, only has these 2 little tabs right here that slot into the torso. And because there's no backing to that, right, you can sort of finagle them into an ab crunch. This, though, because it has a clip and then those 2 things that slide into place, there is no motion here. This can move forward to allow for the hips to ratchet forward that far. They can go back that far. They're also the nicest feeling ratchets. They can go out that far. Those are not very nice feeling ratchets. You have that above the knee swivel, so it's like right there as opposed to underneath. Look, you can see the ratchet. This one's springy. It makes a nice noise and it bends about 90 degrees. Like, that's a nice ratchet. And then you get the toe, and that's it. That's all he can do. Not a lot. Oh, come on. Aye. It's not a lot. Also, one thing to note that I found out yesterday. So this has a 5mm port on the side of it. So I can plug the sword into there. I can plug the shield into there, right? Like, you can do that. This is an upscale. So it originally didn't have those ports, but the hands were 3mm, right? And so they've upscaled it to 5mm to fit weapons. Why is there a 7mm port on this side? It doesn't fit anything. Nothing that the toy comes with fits in this hole, and I don't understand why it's here. It's not on the original. Like, it's straight up just not there. So what's the purpose of this 7mm port? I don't know. I have no clue. It's very weird. I will say I really like the sculpting on the sword and shield, just going back to those real quick. It makes me kind of want to go over them with some paint so I can see the details better, but also this thing kind of sucks and I might just comic alley it. They do watch these though, so I'm betting I'm gonna get a text from the shop owner in the evening saying, "Don't bring it." What do you mean we have a frost advisory right now? What do you? Okay, I guess we're gonna have frost. In the end, I'm not the biggest fan. I see why they did it, because, you know, tight money and stuff. And honestly, upscaling good toys isn't a bad thing. Look at Studio Series Starscream. This is probably one of the better upscaled guys, it's cool to have a big Beast Hunters Prime, but like that also already exists. God, I want that thing. But this by itself is just very weird. But that's my look at Beast Hunters Voyager class Optimus Prime, the big version. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.